Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you to all of the students, Entrepreneurship Class, both Amarta Class and International Undergraduate Program. My name is Tantowi, one of the member of the entrepreneurship team in Department of Management. Welcome to our YouTube channel, and today, due to ongoing situation of the COVID-19, we transform all of our classes to online platform. So you can either learn in our platform Aula or through YouTube or any other multimedia platform. So today, the first session after midterm examination, we will have material based on the syllabi. It is inventory management. How to manage your inventory. First thing first, I want to make some brief guidance before we go through to another slides. So basically, inventory management is a concept, a model proposed or developed in 1913 by Fort Harris and been refined over time until today. So there are like any other model, theory or concept or formula. This concept also has some assumptions to implement. The first assumption is, you can see in the end of the slides, all of the variables are constants. And the second assumption is, we can estimate the specific range of data about demand related to our inventory, related to our stocks, related to our sales. All of them should be predicted. So if it is not constant, if it is unpredictable, so it's hard to implement this concept. So actually, what is inventory management? The inventory itself defined as raw materials, component parts, work in process, or finished products that use in production process. So we have some keywords here: raw materials, component parts, work in process, or finished product. So all of the goods, materials that used for production process are belong to inventory. In this concept, some of the I forgot one thing. The other assumption here in inventory management, or how to manage your inventory, is it is implemented in company that produce goods, products, not services. I mean, if it is full services product, of course they have no inventory. If it is half of product and service, yes, you may have some inventory in your company. So in this concept, it is important to note that most of the company implemented this model or this concept are manufacturing company or trading company or half service and half goods company. Manufacturing company, you can mention like car producer, or for something around us, the culinary business, something like that. Another important issue in inventory management is we have to realize that not all the manufacturing company really have inventory. If you take another course related to operation and supply chain management, you may have understanding that some company implemented a concept called lean inventory management. The essential concept of lean inventory management is you are not allowed to make waste. WASTE, waste. So they try to keep their company as lean as possible, including their inventory. So you may have some inventory, but maybe it's not inside your company. It's still in the supplier or in the other company. So they implement just in time inventory. Your company need the inventory exactly this morning 7 a.m. So the night before this morning, the inventory just come to your warehouse. That's how lean inventory works. This concept proposed by Toyota Motor Company in 30 years or 40 years ago. So it's very important to note that not all the manufacturing company really implement inventory management, but they have inventory management, but they don't really need inventory at their company. So they just need their inventory in the right time and in the right place. So at least there are 4 assumptions to implement this concept. So why do we really care about this inventory management? So if you take the accounting course, the basic accounting course, you will realize that our inventory is our assets. So in the balance sheet, you may see after cash, you have what we call it. I forgot the name in the English. In Indonesia, we call it piutang. And the next line, you will have inventory as the third most liquid asset that you have. So imagine that inventory is just inventory. I mean, this inventory should be transferred to be cash. So why do we care? Because if we really handle this well, we have so many potential for efficient, to make our company as efficient as possible by controlling our inventory. So we need to transform our inventory become cash. And the second point, at the firm level, it will help the sales growth, the right inventory at the right place at the right time, just as I mentioned before. And the second point is cost reduction. Less money tied up in inventory, you will have more profit actually, because just like I said before, you can transform your inventory to be more liquid, to be asset, to be cash assets. Okay, so how do you manage your inventory, and how much do you buy and when? This is some illustration that I brought to the slides. Imagine Starbucks coffee. So what are their raw materials? They have coffee bean, they have milk, sugar, cream, and other raw materials. And the equipment itself, They have coffee machine, cups, straw maybe. And at the end, all of these raw materials will become finished product, a cup of coffee. This is an important concept that not only apply in big company, but you can also implement it in your startup company, in your small or micro company. Imagine that you don't have inventory. What will happen? There are some costs that might occur if you can manage your inventory properly. If you run out your inventory while the customer needs, you will have more costs of going to the suppliers, maybe to groceries, cost of drawing money, because you can manage your inventory in the right time. So another important issue, the cost of buyer disappointment. Imagine that you open your shop, your company, but you run out your inventory and the customers comes, but you don't have what they really needs. They will change, they will maybe disappointment and turn out to your competitors. What a sad story. Another issues are cost of holding and storing inventory, cost of lost interest, price discounts, some safety against uncertainty might occur if you can manage your inventory well. So all of them are the economic and opportunity costs that might occur if you can't manage your inventory properly. So why do we need inventory? For some of company, this is the way to eliminate the risk of poor quality materials. If you have inventory, you can choose which one of materials that excellence for the production process, or maybe there are few percent of them that you need to throw it because they have pure quality. Another reason why we really need inventory, even you can choose to not have inventory, just like I mentioned in lean inventory management, it is minimize the risk of delays in the arrival of stored goods. Imagine in distribution process, your supplier had some trouble in the road, so this is the way we minimize the risk. Another important notes, maintaining a smooth production flow, achieve efficient use of the machine, and giving the best service experience to customer. So you will not let your customer disappoint because you run out the stock or run out the goods that you offer to the customer. So just like I mentioned before, if the inventory is not managed properly, it could be two things, whether it is too high or too low. When it's too high, some costs might happen are unnecessary costs. Company must pay capital costs because yes, of course, your inventory is your assets, right? And damage to stored materials. Some of the inventory are not long lasting, maybe perishable goods that have period of time just for some days, some weeks. And the large storage costs, if the inventory are too high, you should build large warehouse, so it could affect your costs related to storage, insurance, building rent, and maintenance costs. What if is it too low? It is too low. The production process could be interrupted, and you might have more costs related to ordering. So that's two scenario if you can't manage your inventory properly. Either it is too high or too low, with all the costs related to those scenarios. Some things to consider to decide the level of inventory that you choose in your company. First, you have to set what is the minimum level of your inventory. If it is 100% stock, what is the minimum level of inventory? Whether it is 10%, 5%, depends on what kind of goods it is, what kind of industry, and the best practice in your company based on the valid and reliable data that you have in your company. So, and the second one, the estimation of production. How many product that you want to produce in a day, in a month, in a week, or maybe in one period a year. So you should decide, or you have estimation about the production quantity. The risk on storage, just like I mentioned before, some goods might be perishable goods, or they have short period of time to storage. And the efficiency of inventory handling, how efficient you handle your inventory from the supplier until it's arrive in your warehouse. Efficiency on transportation handling, quite the same, but one thing about transportation, one thing about inventory in your warehouse. And the last thing is estimation of your inventory price over time. Just like I mentioned in the assumption in the first slide, that it is important that our inventory, our estimation about stocks should be constant. Otherwise, it is hard to calculate our optimum order of quantity, or economic order quantity, that I want to explain in the next slides. Yes, this is economic order quantity, defined as the analysis used to help calculate the minimum cost of storing and ordering raw materials. So, economic order quantity, AOQ, is the ideal order quantity a company should purchase to minimize inventory costs such as holding costs, shortage costs, and order costs. The key takeaway is the AOQ is a company optimal order quantity that minimizes its total cost, and the AOQ formula is best applied in a situation where demand, ordering, and holding costs remain constant over time, just like I mentioned before. So we have two big components here: ordering cost or setup cost, and inventory carrying cost. The ordering cost or setup cost consists of preparing an order, send employees to place for an order, receipt to order payment. So one thing to note here in ordering cost is it is constant for any order. The more often you order, you will have the bigger cost. Okay, the more often, the bigger cost you have. How about inventory carrying cost? The more amount you order, you will have more cost. So we will have economic order quantity, which is consists of the things that I explained before. So we will calculate the amount of the purchase of the most economic material, amount and cost. So we have to look, we have to define, we have to calculate what is the minimum amount we have to order in to make our cost minimum. Okay, so and this is the AAQ model. Don't be trained by this kind of graphic. Basically it's just a microeconomic concept. Here we have annual cost, here we have order quantity, holding cost. The cost of holding your inventory is linear over time. The more you have order quantity, it's directly contributed to your annual cost, linear. And orders or setup cost is diminishing at some point. So the more you order, you will decrease or minimize your cost. And here we have this point is the optimal order quantity. So how many inventory, how many stock that company should purchase to minimize their inventory. We have total cost curve that also remember your microeconomic concept. They will diminishing, they will decrease at some point, and the marginal cost will increase at some point. So we need to know our minimum, our optimal, and we have this. So that's optimal order quantity that we learned today. So how do we calculate the EAQ? So basically there are two formula, depends on what kind of data that you have. So you might see here, this is the difference. What are the variables? So R is the need for goods within a certain period, 1 year. So you have to estimate your needs about your stock inventory, the goods that you want to transform to be final product in 1 year. You will have order fee, setup cost here. Okay, this is the given coefficient. Basically you can Google how they derive this equation, but we have the final equation here. And the P, the purchase price of each unit of goods here for the first formula, and I, storage cost, the percentage of the average value of inventory of goods stored. This is the purchase price for each goods, and this is the storage cost, percentage from the average value of inventories from all the goods that stored in your company. Or you can choose to use this formula instead of this if you only have this data. Storage costs are stated in IDR, in rupiah, in dollar, in any other currency per unit of goods saved. Carrying cost, the carrying cost. So you have to choose between these two formula. Choose based on what kind of data that available in your company, in the examination, or in the case, and so on. There are some assumptions here. The 4 assumptions are: the price of goods per unit is fixed, so it's constant, just like I tell you before. The goods available at any time. The warehouse always loads, and it is durable goods. So it is the concept that not only applied in for-profit company, but it also can be applied in non-profit company, in government agency maybe. So we have to deal with COVID-19 right now. You may hear or watch the news in your TV that we run out, we have no more ventilator or mask, or some of the hospitals, some puskesmas, the unit health care, they no longer have storage for the this pandemic. It could be applied in some extent, but we in the COVID-19 issue, we are dealing with the extraordinary case. The demand is so high suddenly, and then we cannot predict it before. So this concept maybe not relevant in extraordinary case, but it could be applied either in profit company or non-profit organization, because just like the explanation in the beginning of this video, this concept have some limitations or some assumption that should be met to make this concept apply. So after EOQ model, we have ROP, reorder point, defined as the best time to place an order again before the goods are in the safety stocks. I mentioned before that you have to decide your safety stock, your buffer zone, the minimum level of inventory that safe for your company. This is the safety stocks of a particular company, of a specific company. They have 200. This is the safety stock. This is their maximum stock, maximum inventory, and we have ROP here. So in ROP concept, you have to know your lead time, the time that inventory will send to you from the supplier. So if you know your lead time, you can predict if this is maximum inventory that you have. If it goes down here, you should call your supplier or activate supplier software that you need to repurchase again, because this is the time when the lead time, when the inventory sent to your company, and by the time there goes down, at this point you will have your stock again. Okay, this is the cycle that you have to deal in your company. The other point, meet the safety stock, you should have your stock already available in your warehouse. What if you run out, or the lead time is longer than you expected? You still have some stocks where it is critical. So by the time you touch here, you will no longer have inventory, and the production process will probably discontinue since you have no inventory. Okay, so this is the example of the EOQ problem. We can use this is the Indonesian version, and this is the English version. So before I explain about this problem, let me tell you about another thing. So in spite of your best effort to calculate the optimal quantity, before we deal with this problem, in spite of your best effort to calculate the optimal quantity of inventory to have on hand at any given time, you may find yourself stuck with stock there that just are not selling well. So in that case, the thing is, you have to sell your stock first. You have to make your inventory transform, become sales, become cash. So the example of how to use AOK is in this problem. So PT Starbucks for 1 year, we assume 320 days, use 6,400 raw material. So we have the data given R. This is our R at a price of 50 per unit. So we have our S here. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is not S. This is the S. This is the S. Sorry. Shipping order at by administration and at by order completion, we have 50 cost per unit. So we have our R. You can put it here. We have our S. Put here. And the C itself is storage in a warehouse. The problem stated here, we have 1 rupiah. You can add to the formula 2 multiply by this number and 50 per 1. Don't forget to make it in square, in the root, sorry. So by this calculation, we will have this economic order quantity. So the minimum amount that PT Starbucks should order is 800 unit per order. So we have this. The ROP value, if we have to calculate our ROP value, if the lead time 6 days, so if the lead time 6 days and we have the usage for 1 day here is 20 units, we have our lead time 120 units. So if we apply to the graph, this is our graph, this is our maximum storage, and this is the safety stocks. No, this is our ROP. This is our safety stock SS here, and the cycle goes on over and over. So this is the minimum amount that you should order, 800. Okay, I hope this explanation explains quite well about the concept of managing inventory, and I hope it will give you some benefits, maybe not today, maybe the next years, if you are the manager of your company, if you are the owner of your own business. I hope this explanation it's something, the concept that you can recall or you will be remembered when you need it. So for the assignment, please make your own EOQ problem based on the business or project that you develop in this class. You develop your own case, make your own case, you develop your own assumptions, and you develop you solve the case based on your own calculation. This is the group assignment. Remember that if there are some of you free rider that do not contribute to the group project, please do not put your name on it. So I only need the one who really contribute to the group performance. They will have some points, and the free riders you will not take or receive any points from me. What if you or your company or your project is the service-based business? You have no inventory, so just develop your own assumption. Maybe you will not really full 100% service. You might still need some inventory related to your office supplies, maybe, or your company supplies, pen, maybe. Just create your own case, your own problem, and solve by yourself. Good luck with this assignment, and I hope wherever you are, stay safe, stay at home, and be healthy. Keep your social distancing, and thank you for this opportunity to have some explanation video. This is my first tutorial lessons video in English, so pardon my limitation. Thank you guys, and God bless you all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.